change how you look at things and it can change your life. And the story of how £1 changed my life. Today I want to talk about if you have tried to do something, like if you're trying to start a business, trying to change a career, trying to start a new hobby, trying to lose weight, and it just doesn't work for you. Like you put in your best effort, you're trying, and you just don't see any results. You don't get any sales, you don't have any clients, you can't play a song on the guitar, or maybe there's people out there who just haven't started that thing. There's something that you kind of wish you would want to do, but you just never get around to it. Maybe there's just like a fear of, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if it doesn't work out and you put all that time, energy and effort in, or what would your friends say? What would your family say? So you don't start. So I've got a story about how £1 changed my life. And before telling this story, I think it'd be good to talk to the people who feel this struggle and maybe a bit about why this is kind of going on or why I think it's going on. And the reason I think this is kind of happening is there's expectations there. So if you are struggling with some of these things right now, you're probably experiencing some bad expectations. Things didn't work out the way you wanted to be. You expected things to, I don't know, like to have worked by now, to have more sales, to get some clients, to have lost weight, or to even be able to play a song. And I think that the hardest part about all this is that you start to doubt yourself and you might start questioning, like, did you might make the right decision? Did maybe you're not good enough for this thing? Maybe you're not smart enough. Maybe you're not talented enough. And these kind of ideas start to creep in. And to be honest, you kind of start to lose hope and faith. And you look for, maybe just ways to go, maybe this isn't for me. So you've tried your hardest, you've tried your best, and it didn't work out. And I think we've all felt that feeling, and we've all kind of been there. So what I want to do is try to tell you a story about how £1 changed my life, and maybe how this story could help you change your own story. So 7 years ago, I was alone in Thailand. I had left my family, friends, and home in order to try to start building an online business. I changed from being a designer to trying to start working in e-commerce, just trying to make anything work, to be honest. And I was out there working without really knowing how it would turn out. So I had some savings and I was just going day by day, week by week, trying to make things work. So a bit like what I've just been talking about, I was working every day. I was trying super hard to make something work and trying to just find my chance, and doubt creeped in, like, what am I doing? I left everything that I had. I had a good job, I had friends, I had all these kind of good things, but I left it all to try to make this happen, and it wasn't happening. So that was really tough. That was a tough time. But the moment it kind of changed was whenever I sold a children's school bag on eBay. And basically from that one sale, I made £1. Now, with this £1, I was over the moon. Like, I was so happy. I was so happy and I was so excited. And I remember I called one of my friends from back home and I was just telling him, I was saying to him, man, I just made £1. I sold the school bag. I made £1. And nothing against him. He just kind of laughed and he was like, why are you so excited? Like, why does that matter? It's like £1. You could probably find £1 down the back of the sofa. And like, I totally get where he was coming from. Like, if that was me and he was out there, and I would probably be saying the same thing. But to me, that £1 meant so much. Like, to me, that meant I could go for dinner that day, go to like a local street Thai vendor and get like a £1 pad thai. Like, I had literally bought myself a pad thai with this £1 that I had earned. And what that meant was I earned that £1 while being in Thailand, while kind of being totally on my own. Yeah, so basically I'd made that pound. I found a way to like make money online that I could do anywhere in the world. This £1 could be made if I was in Thailand, if it, Bali, if I was in Ireland, it doesn't matter. I still made that £1. I found a way to create, market, sell, distribute, all these kind of things that kind of needed to happen into that £1. And for me, that was such a special moment. So what I did from that small moment was dream about the next little baby steps, you know. Like I wasn't thinking about, you know, how I'm going to be a millionaire, how am I going to make, you know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I was thinking about what's the next step from here. So I dreamt of, you know, could I make £3 or £5? That meant that paid for all my meals that day. If I made £10 in a day, that would basically cover 2 weeks runway. So basically I had like 4 months of a runway. So that'd be like 4.5 months I now have. If I got to £20 in a day, that would cover my whole month. I would basically be able to break even. Like I could live in Thailand and I could basically sustain this life where I was basically my own boss and I could travel and live in this place. Then if I started to make £30 a day, you know, then I could have a bit of savings, I could increase my living standards, yeah, or I could just travel to new places or reinvest it. So I was looking at these kind of baby steps. So that £1 really meant a lot to me. And it was kind of the start of everything that kind of happened from then on. And even though that might not seem a lot to a lot of people, it really meant a lot to me at that time. And it kind of started this kind of long journey. So where am I going with this? So basically what I want to say is if you're struggling with things, if you're finding things tough right now, and it feels like things are just not working, I would encourage you to look at if there was ways that you could look at your situation from a different point of view, to look at your expectations and try to shift the narrative a bit. So maybe you didn't lose weight this week, but you managed to cut out chocolate. Well, that's freaking awesome. So that is good enough. That is one step towards what you want to do. Maybe you didn't make any sales this week, but you had 10 people view your website. Well, that's freaking awesome too. You know, that's a baby step as well. If you are trying to find clients and you didn't find any clients this week, but you went to an event and you met some people, well, that's amazing too. Or if you can't play a song on guitar, but you've learned a couple of notes, well, I think that's great too. So what I want to say is give yourself a break. Things take time and it won't necessarily be easy. But I think that if you can be a bit more gentle on yourself, if you can appreciate all the steps that you are taking, then that will make the journey that much easier. And you might find a way in order to just continue, because sometimes it just takes kind of consistently turning up to eventually something happening. And it all starts with, you know, what's that £1 that you can look for? Then what's that £3? What's that £5? And look for these small wins as you're trying to make things happen. All right, so I'm gonna wrap things up. And yeah, so why am I saying all this? Basically, it's not that I want to become a life coach or I'm trying to sell you something. I'm not that I have my own things going on. But I think I was home back in Europe for about 7 months, and I could see how difficult things were for everybody who was kind of back there. Like, things are tough right now, and I think it's kind of tough for everybody. So hopefully this short video will hopefully give you a chance to give a bit of a break for yourself and just kind of a little bit of inner motivation, and hopefully you can find a way to be your own biggest fan and biggest supporter if you are trying to do something that is difficult and you are getting out your comfort zone. That, you know, we all go through it, and just to have a bit of faith and to kind of give yourself a pat on the back as much as you can right now. Oh, and it's also, if there's anyone out there who was like me 7-8 years ago and had a dream of a life that could be something that's completely different to what you have now, this video is for you as well, to kind of give you a little bit of inspiration and encouragement, and to, yeah, basically to say that how you look, if you, what is it? I need to learn the line. Wait. Change your view on things and you can change your life. That's what I want to say. So I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Hey everyone, just here at the beach. I'm having my favorite meal. It's a poke bowl. Just kind of got to the beach. I'm just gonna sit here um, and just have like a bit of a dinner for the day. Um, okay, had to move because it started to feel awkward and uncomfortable that people were coming over. So I found a little spot, but it's just me here. So, all right. So, what was I talking about?